In over 10 years of buying, selling and holding properties, whilst also losing a shitload of money, I've actually had some great wins and I've actually made some money as well. However, before we jump into the easiest way that I've made 6 figures in property off one deal, I have to throw in some disclaimers just for you all watching this. As many of you know, this channel isn't designed to sell you a pipeline dream or bullshit you into some inflated facts. Property investing, my friends, is hard. Harder than people will lead you to believe. And the truth of the matter is you need cash to really make a difference in this game. And if you don't have cash, well then you need something else. However, before we jump into that, my friends, if at any stage you feel anything I've shared on this channel over the years or even in this video is useful, then I'd appreciate you do me one favor, and that is to simply smash that like button just so YouTube can potentially promote this to a larger audience to get this information out to the masses. Now, back to the point. You either need cash to get going in this game or you need to be able to find it. Now, whether that's down the side of your sofa, your friends, your family, private investors, you have to get good at raising finance if having cash yourself is not feasible at this particular time. And the reason I'm telling you this, guys, is because the return made on this investment I'm going to share in this video has been the one that has actually required the least effort, given me the largest ROI based off that effort, and one that if I could find more of, I promise you I will be rinsing and repeating every single day. In fact, this deal was so good that I know that there's investors out there who come across maybe 1 or 2 of these deals in a lifetime, but then simply regurgitate the information, push out webinars, charge people thousands a month talking about it, saying it's the easiest property strategy ever, when the truth of the matter is that's not how it actually works. But guys, I ain't going to be doing that with you guys. In fact, I'm going to be fully transparent in how I did this, how you could potentially do this, and I'll also share how we're going to be spending that money too. So essentially this involved us doing a planning uplift. And essentially for this particular deal, we learned about a site that a vendor had and wanted to sell. In fact, they were a distressed seller. And having had this site for a while, but unfortunately seeing it being burnt down, they were now at the end of the tether with the project and they just wanted to sell it and get rid. Now, usually this can pose some great opportunities, as obtaining this particular site, we could have probably got it a lot cheaper, as we knew the vendor had a motivation to sell. But we also knew that there was a huge potential profit in this deal as well, if we were able to achieve the planning on this project, and that paying the current vendor what was a fair price would still have made it a win-win situation. So essentially that's what we did. We didn't try and undercut it, and we paid them what they wanted. Now, knowing that this scheme could be built out and produce a substantial profit, we needed to be sure that we could obviously get planning approved. Now guys, this is a really important point. I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you guys and lie and pretend I know everything about planning, or whether or not I knew exactly that this would get approved in terms of how many units and the NGDV and the actual scheme we could run on it. But I was, however, confident that the team I had around me was able to do this. And this is why I always speak about surrounding yourself with people better than you at the things that you maybe aren't as good at. And that's what I do. I simply know my skills, but I also know my weaknesses too. But anyway, to cut a long story short, after 12 months, we were able to get this approved for a scheme that provided a substantial amount of profit. Now, as I didn't actually purchase the site myself, as most of my capital was tied up on other projects that you've probably seen on this channel, I ensured that I was invested in it, as I knew there's one thing I can do, and that's the ability to raise finance. Now, the project itself needed about £100,000 in terms of moving it forward for the planning and all that sort of stuff, and I knew that I could raise that within a few days. And so I did. And I'm very fortunate I have these investors always ready to invest into my projects, knowing that I'll offer them a return that they're obviously happy with. So essentially, I gave them a return, they was happy with it, I was able to raise this £100,000, and I plugged this into this deal for a return of £100,000. Yes, 100k in, 200k back out. And I'm not going to pretend that these deals are everywhere. They're very few and far between. However, I was fortunate that I landed myself in this position. So, moving on to how you could do this. Now, without making this video 20 minutes long, you guys need to do the non-sexy stuff that I often talk about. Firstly, you need to surround yourself with people better than you. But while you do that, you need to be adding some sort of value to that circle and bring something to that table. Now, that could be anything. You could be an architect, you could be a solicitor, you could be a tradesman, You may even be like myself and have the ability to raise finance. Now, in terms of how we're going to spend this money, I have actually a video coming up on this, as I was shooting some stuff over the weekend, where I'm actually going to run through what we chose to do with this investment over here. So you'll have to either come back in a week or so if you're a subscriber, or maybe consider subscribing if that is something that you're interested in. So guys, if you have any questions about it, please do drop it down in the comments below. And as always, when you guys couldn't have been doing anything, but you chose to spend a few moments with me, well, that makes you pretty awesome. So until next time guys, thanks for watching.